afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Journey into Awareness with Jamie Love from San Diego and Dr. Richard Cherney, me, from New York. And today we have another compelling, enthralling show for you with our guest, Professor Jeffrey Frankel. Take it away, Jamie. Introduce him for us.
Well, yes, today we're going to talk to Professor Jeffrey Frankel, just as Richard said, and he's out of Nassau County College, Community College, and we're going to hear about his compelling story today about how he was born into this world and what actually happened to him as he was being born and how the doctor saved his life. And we'll hand it off to you, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Fine, Jamie. How are you? Great seeing you.
Great.
Good.
Just awesome. Just getting over a cold, so excuse me if I sound a little nasally today.
Okay, we will.
So tell us, Jeff, tell us about your amazing journey into awareness.
Okay, my amazing journey into awareness began on June 20th, 1953, when I was born in the Bronx.
The Bronx.
The Bronx, that's part of New York.
New York.
He's a tough guy from the Bronx.
Right. I was born with a condition called congenital heart condition called tetralogy Fallot. Basically what that means is that there were some defects in my heart. When the fetus is in the mother's birth canal, there are holes in the heart that close up as the baby comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And the heart's a very important organ of the body because it's a pump that pumps deoxygenated blood, catches the oxygen that we breathe in, and reoxygenates the blood, and then pumps it through the lungs and circulates it out throughout the body. In my case, these defects did not make the oxygenated blood purely oxygenated. So I had a condition called cyanosis, which is infants have a tinted blue fingernails and blue lips, and
Mm-hmm.
they get out of breath
Yes.
quickly.
Right.
Okay. So back in the 40s, there was really no surgery for this or any way to save these babies. But also back in the 40s, due to the war efforts, there was a physician named Dr. Alfred Blaylock that started doing experiment on shock treatment meaning trauma, not
Okay.
shock like to the brain.
Right.
Trauma to help soldiers coming out of the war.
Okay.
And make a long story short, he worked with a technician named Vivian Johnson, who was an African American male, who wanted to go to his desire was always to go to medical school.
Okay.
But he could never move up the ranks because of his race.
Yes.
And he did research at Vanderbilt University in Tennessee, and eventually he moved up to Johns Hopkins University, which was the premier hospital where research and surgery, innovative surgery was going on at the time, and this was probably in the late 40s or early 50s, and Vivian Johnson moved with Alfred Blaylock to Baltimore, Maryland, and Blaylock partnered with another physician, a female physician who was named Karen Tarsick. Karen Tarsick is known to be the mother of pediatric cardiology, and she kept tabs on all these infants
Right.
with tetralogy Fallot, or TOF, as it's abbreviated.
Uh-huh.
So Dr. Tarsick went to Blaylock, because Blaylock became chief of surgery and chief of research at the hospital.
Right.
And then Karen Tarsick said, I have all these children that need help. Would you be willing to see if we could do something? What Vivian Johnson was doing, he was doing experiments on dogs, on how to create a bypass in the heart.
Right.
So to bypass all the issues so that blood could be totally oxygenated.
Okay.
Okay. And he was successful at it, with a lot of barriers that he came across, but he became successful at doing this. And so Karen Tarsick and Alfred Blaylock put together a procedure that became known as the Blaylock-Tarsick shunt. A shunt meaning a hole.
Right.
There was surgery to close up that hole, or close up the septum, or the hole in the septum is a division of the heart.
Right.
There are two chambers.
Yes.
The heart, there's a wall that divides the heart. The two chambers, the right and left atrium.
Right. Yes.
Right and left ventricles.
Yes.
And the surgery was successful, and first surgery was, I believe, in 1951.
Okay.
My surgery was in 1954.
Okay.
And I was very lucky because I was born into a family of physicians. So they were always up on the research.
Yes.
My father was a doctor. My uncle, his brother was a doctor.
Right.
And why are you looking at me?
Because she's captivated. That's why.
Captivated.
This is like a mystery story, you know? Don't you feel the suspense? Don't you feel the
Actually,
suspense?
I actually was thinking, this story sounds very familiar. Have we seen, and I think our audience may have seen a movie that was
called
very similar to this story.
Yes, it's called Something the Lord Made.
So you're one of those children?
I'm one of those children. I was actually a patient of Dr. Tarsick's for a short period of time.
Right.
My parents had friends who had a child that was born with TOF.
Okay.
And there are different severities of TOF. There are different anomalies that are wrong with the heart.
Right.
And unfortunately, this child, Michael, did not make it through the surgery. So the surgery was kind of trial by error.
Sure.
At this point.
Wow.
Right.
So in 1954, my parents took the shot of me having the surgery, and I had it at Mount Sinai in New York, although I think the majority of the surgery was done in Maryland. That's where Michael had his surgery,
Right.
as far as I know. And my surgery was successful, and it increased my life expectation to about 16 to 20 years. My childhood activities were pretty much normal. I skied, rode a bike, but I would get out of breath. I would do everything.
Right.
I'd play football, but I could only run, half the football field, and then I'd have to stop. I'd be
Right.
wheezing.
You'd have to take a break.
Right.
And we're going to take a break for a minute, and we'll be back after these messages on Journey into Awareness on the Daily Blue.
Hey Larry, every week I watch your show,
As you should.
and I know so much about sports now. Thank you.
You should be learning about sports, and everybody should be watching all our other shows here on the Daily Blue.
Why are you promoting the other shows? I thought you were the king of the Daily Blue.
That's true, but I'm all about everybody. It's not always all about me.
No,
all
it really
about
is.
the team.
Every day I wake up and it says, today is all about me, Corinne. Don't
I've
lie.
heard that.
Don't lie. Tune in every week to the Daily Blue and you'll see Sports Biz with LD. And you will get a lot of information, updates in sports, and a little bit about sports biz.
And that's me, Larry Davis, Sports Biz with LD.
And we're back with Jamie, Richard, and Jeffrey. And he's telling us his
Jeffrey.
compelling story about his journey into this world and the doctors that were there and the 6 degrees of separation that really is miraculous for all of us.
Thank you. So, when we took a break, I was saying that the operation I have extended my life somewhere between 16 and 20 years. And my parents were hoping that developments would occur in surgery. And they did. At 10 years old, they told me when I'm about 12, when my heart was fully developed, that I would be going under I would have open heart surgery, where they would actually attach me to what they call a heart-lung machine, and it would pump my blood, and they would remove my heart from my body. They could then open the heart and patch up everything permanently.
Wow.
So when I used to tell my first surgery was just like bubble gum patching. You know, they put some bazooka in there. If I breathed too hard, I got a bubble.
Bazooka was my favorite bubblegum to chew as a
too.
kid.
I like the comic strips. I hated the bubble gum. It was too hard.
And what about the fortune that you used to get? You know, remember the
Yeah.
fortune? So anyway, go ahead.
We're all old
right,
enough to
bazooka.
remember that.
Got that to fortune. Anyways, after that, I didn't need the bazooka. But this was in 1965 when I had my surgery. I was 12 years old.
Right.
There were big risks because now if a child has a surgery or an adult, they automatically put you on blood thinners or decoagulants.
Right.
That wasn't discovered yet.
Oh boy.
So the risk was the possibilities of having a stroke. Your blood thickening,
Yes.
you throwing a clot from somewhere, and you becoming paralyzed.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened to me.
Really?
9 days post my surgery went well. I was in recovery for, I don't know, intensive care for a couple of days. I was in step down, then I went into my own room. Then I eventually went into the regular children's ward, and I got to the point where I was making lanyards with both hands and feeling really good and energetic, and they couldn't keep me down because I was a really energetic kid, never having that type of energy before.
Sure.
So sitting on my bed one day, and I just remember I had a roommate named Gary, and what was famous about Gary is his father had a diner in Glen Cove
Yes.
that made really good cheesecake, and I loved cheesecakes. His parents always brought me their cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
So I was making a lanyard, and all of a sudden I got a severe headache,
Oh my goodness.
like a pick going into the side of my head.
Ouch.
I went into a seizure, and I woke up paralyzed. And I didn't have
Wow.
the ability to talk, the ability to move, and I was totally paralyzed from, I don't know what portion down, but
Right.
after about, I'd say maybe a week, I started getting return. Return meaning you get some portion of your mobility back.
Right.
And if you have a stroke on your right side,
Affects the left
it
side of your
affects
body.
your left side,
Yeah.
and vice versa. It's
Mhm.
better have it on your right side than on your left side, because on your right side is your speech center,
Right.
and if you have it on your left side, you have dysphagia,
Right.
meaning the inability to speak.
Yes.
So I had it on my right side, so I was able to speak, and I was able to verbalize my needs.
Thank
So,
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. So it was a long rehabilitation. I was in the hospital for the full summer. I came home. I went in June, came home maybe August or beginning of September. Was wearing a long leg brace.
Yes.
We were talking about braces
Oh, yeah.
coming here.
Yes, we were.
Right
How I
now,
couldn't
we're
stand it.
something called an AFO. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
It's like a hard plastic
Yes.
brace that goes in your shoe, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But,
Okay.
I'm losing my train of thought.
Well, you were talking about
Oh, your brace.
Yeah, my brain.
your brain.
My brain or my brace.
Yes.
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 So, anyways, anyway, is this edited at all?
Oh, sure.
Oh, good.
Sure, we can edit it. No problem. Just keep going.
Yeah, you're doing good.
You're doing fine, Jeff.
You sure?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You were talking about how it's better to be damaged on one side of your brain than the other side of your brain because you wouldn't be able to speak. So are you sure you're damaged on the right side?
No, I'm not. Not that face.
I think we're having some difficulties here.
So anyways, I returned to school. I think it was like 5th or 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
My left arm was in this kind of position.
Right.
It was stuck in that position, which later on down the road I had it fixed. And I'll get to that. My parents were concerned about my ability to stay up with my education. Around 1968, my father passed away, which was a big.
Oh, my
slump.
goodness.
He was a psychiatrist and
Wow.
worked like 8 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
always on call. That was a big blow to my ego.
Sure.
Tough on my mom. And some of the things my mother always pushed me to the limit, always made me go beyond the envelope. And I thank my mom today for that.
Yes.
And
Who's 94 and
Who's
living in
94 and
living in Boca Raton.
Boca Raton, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom.
Jamie will tell you all.
Wow. 94. Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, she does Tai Chi.
Yes, you have to push your children. You have to push them hard, or else
Yes.
they'll be complacent.
And we're going to talk about pushing more after these messages on the Daily Blue and Journey into Awareness.
Hi, my name is Scott. I own Jake Star Restaurant and Bar in Stony Brook, New York. We are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have happy hour from 4 to 7 o'clock. We are open 7 days a week. We have great breakfast. We have stuffed French toast with cream cheese and jam. We have Rice Krispie French toast. We have 7 grain French toast for breakfast. For lunch, we have the best burgers in town. We have wraps, turkey, chicken salad, honey almond chicken salad, Greek salad wraps. We're adding burritos onto our menu. Open for dinner, we have tuna, ahi tuna. We have salmon. We have pastas. We have chicken dish, homemade crepes, cappuccino. Come in, 1007 North Country Road in Stony Brook, right next to 7-Eleven. Again, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Karaoke Friday nights, live bands on Saturday nights. Happy hour, 3 to 7 o'clock. $5 martinis. Once again, this is Scott from Jake Star, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Located 1007 North Country Road in Stony Brook, right next to 7-Eleven. Best burgers in town, best breakfast, best lunch, and best dinner. Have a good night.
Welcome back to Journey into Awareness with Jamie, Richard, Jeffrey on the Daily Blue. And Jeffrey was talking about, or is talking about, how his mother pushed him far beyond the envelope.
Right.
And given the fact that he had a disability, probably needed to be pushed beyond his envelope.
I even have to be pushed today.
Yes.
Thanks to Jamie and Rich, doing a great job.
Thank you.
But
But
What-
you are a testament to all of us, Jeff, that you can do it.
Yes.
No matter what you think is
Yes.
holding you back in your life, you can do it.
Yes.
Thank
So,
you, Jamie.
No excuses, people. No excuses.
Right. Well, I'm gonna wind this up because I'm gonna let you know that I was successful in high school, went on to Nassau Community College as a student, went on to move
And you had a
upstate.
mentor? You had a mentor at
I had
Nassau?
a mentor, Dr. Victor Margolis, who has since passed.
Yes. And he inspired you?
He became my boss when I went back to went back to Nassau in 1979. During those years, I hitchhiked cross country. It was a 50-pound backpack. I went to San Diego, to Alberta, Banff, back to Tijuana, straight across Texas,
Right.
up to Maine.
Uh-huh.
And my friend Neil, who I went cross country with, I think he went on. I think he went off to India somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know where he is these days. But anyways, I was able to do a lot more than I ever thought I could do.
So you went on your spirit walk and you found yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to say, I still am on my spirit walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I recommend that for anybody with a disability, never give up that dream. Always just move forward.
Yes.
And as long as you're moving forward and making strides, you're going to reach a goal and make it short steps, make it short goals.
Right. And this is what you say to your students, don't you, as a counselor
Right, as a
at
counselor.
Nassau Community College and a professor
And you know
in
that.
your classes.
Yes,
and I know that
because Rich is my prize student.
because you were my first mentor.
Thank you.
And you were the one that told me when I was afraid that I could do it. And I did.
That's right.
And thank you.
Thank you.
So people, remember this. We can do anything. It's all about our thoughts and how we put those thoughts into action. And Jeffrey Frankel, Professor Jeffrey Frankel here, is a personification of that. And so is Jamie Adams out there in San Diego because she follows her own path. And so do I, Dr. Richard Cherney. In my book, The Little Engine That Did It, you can read about that. And so does our videographer behind the scenes, Michael, who you can't see, that makes all this happen on the Daily Blue. So go out there, find your inner strength, find your inner soul, find your inner voice, and do it.
Just do it.
Just
Make
do
it
it.
happen.
Ready?
Love
1,
you
2,
all.
3. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time on the Daily Blue.